This was where they were going to put everyone, Russell. A whole generation. Placed in prisons without their consent.
Yeah, I know. My late deceased sister-in-law was the one who helped tear it down. At least one of them. Now it's being redeveloped into a consensual behavioral health home for all ages. Funny if this backup plan we're sitting inside was the original intention in the first place. One can only wonder.
How do you do it? Huh?
Do what?
Not feel. Anything.
Get your ass kicked by a little kid, let alone a little girl in a superhero costume, and all of a sudden you want to ask me how to reject simple touches that you need in order to lay on a pillow to get your health right. But no. At night you're too busy focusing on how much income your bunny call putting in jeopardy when you should hold her close to home, as much as you can.
Well, I can't do that because I'm too busy trying to keep a roof over our bodies so our heads don't get shot off because you and I pissed off every advantage we took of by you arranging the annual percentage based on how many H.K. Smith & Wessons are on top of the world with no time for me to cherish everything I already have, while reality falls down into 1,000 pieces.
Well, I guess we both reached a verdict then. Haven't we?
You're gonna at least charge yourself at least a $25,000 fine as much as you're gonna charge me 9 months pay since you call shots on the stainless tanks.
25 grand ain't enough to buy a joke in the head anymore. Although you of all people should know that. However, again, I'm the one who owns every tank in the settlements. I had the trigger slinging as my idea in the get-go. So I can see why your credit reputation froze up. That's how you got the power. You pull the plug while you're in the comfort of your entourage. Next thing you know, you're broke. Like a big-ass flash right before your eyes in a hot second.
I know you don't work alone, Crane.
You're right. I don't.
So if you're made out of infinite possibilities, why the hell are you even talking to me?
Because we are enemies. We live in the same world, and we share the same goals.
Oh, and what goals are these, son of war, supplier of genocide?
To get from point A to point B.
I swear, Russell, you are nothing but the evil twin of the very enemy you are fighting against.
And I love it when complaints of hypocrisy is a symbolic illusion to obtain the destination of point Y when point X has denied access and decided that you will remain in point A until you are mature enough to even attempt point B. Funny how in the entire duration, the first 3 points were already usurped.
What if all the points were meaningless, Russell? What if there is no point in what we're doing?
Well, pointing is very simple, but risking absolute surety is even major, balancing both positives and negatives. I, on the other hand, I'd like to at least have a theory regardless if it was contrary. Mr. Rico, this job, this life is a game.
Bullshit.
And you will live in it, as I will.
You think this is right?
You think rolling around with a bunch of Tommy gun codes breaking necks just to get respect and continuing power is?
My mother was assassinated because my father betrayed the faith and respect of those he ruled.
Your father became intimate with a woman who struck the wrong nerves and in the process gave birth to you.
Cowardice bastard, you have some nerve.
And you wanted revenge. And now you've forgotten it. Because you've avenged your parents' death a long time ago. Next target that doesn't pertain to the vengeance you embody.
What do you believe in besides sticking your nose in my hurt that doesn't relate to our business?
It's irrelevant at this point.
Oh, I think it's very relevant since the revenge you and I share against reality sabotaged and destroyed an entire generation's future.
I learned the hard way that sometimes there's a difference between being angry and being evil. As a sensitive fellow, as much as I thought help was an intimidating threat, an unfair body wall confinement as much as psychiatric help is, I had anger issues. Still do. And they're very childish, but at this time, I am able to calm them down. Before and to some point still now, I'd get mad and blame my enemies, blame history's greatest evils, blame life for the thievery of corrupting the very nature of how I behave and react to certain visualizations, situations, conditions, comments, all because such arrogance was considered wrong displayed way before I was born. And it's true. It is wrong.
But you're still mad at the fact that those before you despise beat you to it first.
Guess this is the part where you make fun of me because I can't help myself.
You can't.
Then I guess I have no one to blame but myself.
Do you?
Less than every 5 minutes.
What do you ever blame yourself for?
Everything. For how when I was young, the sheer rush for total non-stop action adrenaline would become the ultimate price I would pay for the age I'm in now. How I premeditated this crazy industry, disregarding everyone else, thinking I could be one of the inspirations to stand up against injustice and inequality upon all organic life, by only knowing myself, which is more important either way. I blame myself for letting my wife without ceremony be tortured to further a mission. I especially condemn myself for leaving my first interaction with my mother on a horrible note. But instead, my actions did away with all of those. The age of my pace was hyper. I only premeditated a personality to stand up against isolated injustice. I caught a blessing when my comrade saved my wife, just like I had fun 10 years later with amazing stories. I thought I would tell my mom. Instead, I went back home, and there was nothing left for me but reality. Maybe that's why I get scared of reality. Because I feel as if I don't deserve a second chance.
But your mother gave you a chance, Russell. Just like mine did.
You think that was the intention?
Just because of what they didn't mean to fall into doesn't mean they didn't want us to have a chance in hell.
That's kind of why I treat Nicole like a close partner, a friend. It's a great learning process for me. I don't even kiss her anymore after what I did. Because I don't even forgive myself.
Because you do love her.
Hey, reckless late nights before a mission that shows your true colors is not the way to love someone at all, you know.
No, you'll have to. The hard way until you learn.
I guess I do have a long way to go. That's probably why Saka calls me son of war, supplier of genocide.
Are you?
I did conclude that it would be rude of me to make decisions for many that are going through hell. But considering the fact that I've sold weapons to people who the regime declared as the most dangerous people alive, those people include people of color who are targeted by racists, people who are targeted by bullies, pranksters, stalkers, survivors of domestic violence who, rank in the majority, are women. Since I recklessly believe that I was inspiring people to defend themselves, the Offense Ministry decided to exploit my goals as an excuse for them to use innocent people as target practice. And I screwed up. So when you ask me, am I what Saka labels me as? I want to immediately say no, but I have a really pathetic way of showing it.
Confessions of a guilty conscience always imagines it can justify both polarities in a world where matter doesn't regard the explanation of what is internal, especially in the mind.
I guess it's one thing to be honest, because reality likes honesty as the first step. But when you go too fast and don't deliver your true guns, like a scared cat but you'll still be honest, I guess it does look guilty.
What is it about these weapons you like so much, Russell? You and I. What is it about these guns to you?
I always had a theory that swords that were fought in combat, whoever held them died either in combat or naturally. Either way, the next in line to use the swords to kill their enemy opponent died the same way. All who held a weapon throughout time, century after century, deceased except for the weapons themselves. The weapons were always held by new hands, only to fight each other to serve in a new wielder's story. but the same weapons meet in the same manner of combat. So for me, it was to show respect to battle my mentality of the simple fact that these guns are an easy end. Whether if I am going to walk in external areas armed underneath, and to take whatever disrespectful, sensitive hit being delivered to me, and not regret doing nothing back because of what could have been a worse outcome. That's my easy end. Or there are other easy endings I strongly don't recommend. You can get even, Rico. Take lives until you're caught and shot dead or sent to prison. You can put the gun to your head and pull the trigger, or sit and do nothing and look at the weapon in a case or on a table and dream. Either way, for me, it convinced me it's just an easy end.
So that's the problem? You and I are both lazy, Russell?
We're lazy? It's more like we don't have the guts. We don't have the guts to feel comfortable in a different mindset, thinking if left unsecure, we'll be martyrs of reality.
What are you afraid of?
Memories of how many times I screwed up. But can I be a better person than this in a reality that is hard? Yeah. But not only do I not have the guts, I have beyond more than a long way to go. So I'm grateful for everything and everyone I have around me. Everyone in my unit is my soulmate. I guess having help isn't bad at all. So I don't complain anymore. Because I'm pretty sure you would be the first to tell me I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, you do. We all should be.
We're having a cookout in 2 weeks. I'll give you location details. If you or your playboys decide to show up, try not to be too famous. As if you guys want to come. Just putting that out there.
Russell? Thank you for this.
Yeah, when we get back to getting on each other's nerves, one of us will be in the grave. But you're welcome.